Everyone, welcome back to the Nano Blitz podcast. It's your boy, Ethan, whatever. I'm back with Ben, and we have taken a long break. It's been pretty long time. It's been 2 weeks since we
No,
posted.
it hasn't been that long. It's been like a week and a half. But still, we've been
Well,
wanting to make,
yeah, it's been like 2 weeks.
and we do have a lot of stuff to talk about today. So
Yeah,
we're not gonna go into all of this right now, but just to let you guys know, today on this episode, we're gonna be talking about, we haven't talked since the Super Bowl. So we're gonna be talking about the Super Bowl recap. We're gonna be talking about the recent release of JJ Watt, and we're gonna be going over the 2021 free agency class, like the top 25 prospects in depth.
Ben and I did not come shorthanded. It's a little tough. Ben and I think we can both admit it's a little bit tough during the offseason coming with things to do. And we decided instead of making a bunch of littler episodes for each free agent or what we want to do, we're going to make one big episode about every 2 weeks. We could upload a little more frequently. Again, let us know what you guys want to see. Whether that's on our Instagram at NanoBlitz Podcast, or wherever you guys want to contact us. But I think we can get right into this.
Yeah. So first, let's start off. We haven't done a podcast since the Super Bowl happened. So let's look back at our predictions.
No.
So I predicted. Let's look back at our MVPs too. I predicted the Bucks, which I got right, and then I predicted Antonio Brown with the MVP. It's nice to see him get a ring. It's a shame. I thought he did score though, but I thought he was gonna have a much better game. And then Ethan chose the Chiefs. Who was your MVP, Mahomes?
Yeah, but if the Bucks won, I said Brady.
Yeah.
But
what a weird game.
Weird?
That was the first time Patrick Mahomes has ever lost by double digits in his career.
And it was in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
You know, that's another thing. This is a joke, by the way. This is another thing that just proves Eli Manning is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes.
He was able to.
Patrick Mahomes went 1-2 in the Super Bowl and he lost to Tom Brady in one of them. Whilst Eli Manning went 2-2 against Tom Brady both times.
Yeah, but this game was definitely really weird to watch. You know, you see this Chiefs team, this Chiefs offense that looks almost invincible, get completely picked apart by the Bucks. By the Bucks passing the pass rush. The pass rush just killed them. I mean, the rest of the team played good. The secondary locked up Tyreek Hill. The linebackers were forcing big plays all night. But this game was one of the pass rush.
It's really shown that this is the only team to successfully do it, pretty much. But it is shown that if you can lock up both Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, Mahomes is throwing to a bunch of people with no hands. It was really upsetting to watch. It's upsetting to watch that the Chiefs. Now everyone thinks Chiefs are drafting receiver.
I said they were drafting receiver before this.
Or offensive line, which look, people. That's just how underrated tackles could be, especially Eric Fisher. Everybody's like, oh, he's a bust because he went first overall in 2013, but they don't have Eric Fisher, and they have pressure every play.
They also didn't have Mitch Schwartz, like one of the best tackles in the league.
Well, yeah, that's both sides.
This O-line is still elite in my opinion. I just think they were hurt. Elite. They also lost Kalichi Osemele earlier in the year.
I don't know about elite, but
I don't honestly. This when completely healthy, I'd say this line is top 5. Honestly, they were really good when they're fully healthy. They had 3 starters missing in that game.
If we're gonna talk about line though, rookie tackle Tristan Wirfs is the first rookie in NFL history to be the highest rated player in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Which is really cool. Again, you guys know, I think I've brought this up every time we talk about Tristan Wirfs. Completely snubbed from All-Pro. He seriously should have made it. He's an All-Pro tackle, and if Rookie of the Year wasn't to skill positions basically only, I'd say he's the best rookie. I think he is the best player out of that rookie draft class so far. then probably Justin Jefferson, then Herbert. But Herbert's really good, and it is a quarterback biased award. But we haven't talked about NFL honors either. We haven't talked about the awards.
I'm not a big fan of talking about the awards.
Jeremy Chin.
I'm just being serious. Like, I don't. I think that like the All Pro teams are more important.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing I want to talk about awards before we get back into talking about the Super Bowl. I like the Steelers, guys. This is known. And Aaron Donald had a really good season, and he was probably the second best defensive player this entire season. And I don't think it's like insane that he won it, but I definitely think TJ Watt bested Aaron Donald here. And everybody's thinking, oh, he was completely snubbed. It was a complete, like, it was clear. And to me, at least, it was clear that it was TJ Watt, but I kind of understand the Aaron Donald thing. On honors night, I was freaking out. I was with my buddy Aiden, and we were like, I was sitting there in a Steelers player's jersey. I don't know. It was Jerome Bettis. I was wearing a Jerome Bettis jersey. So hyped for TJ Watt to win. And he just didn't. And that was earth-shattering. But, yeah, we can get back to talking about the Super Bowl.
There's not much to really talk about more about the Super Bowl. Is there anything you wanted to bring up?
Oh, yeah. Gronk played fantastic, and I'm pretty sure he was probably my MVP.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
He was probably like my real Super Bowl MVP.
Also, there is one thing I want to talk about. Just the entire team was just like so like everyone played good, and then one of the key factors of that, both coordinators played amazing. I'm not played, but coached amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think the Chiefs, if the losing team could have an MVP, I think it's clear who it would be. Harrison Butker, the kicker, who scored every point for the Chiefs that day. 2 50-plus yard field goals in the Super Bowl. Amazing. That's the Chiefs played very bad. And I could give you a lot of reasons why, but it doesn't explain, like it doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference because they lost it was like 31-9 or something. And you can't blame that on the refs.
Yeah.
And it's just that Super Bowl so, oh my God, so hyped up in my head. I was so ready for that Super Bowl. It happens, and Super Bowl, I'm watching it, and it looks so awesome. The Bucs don't get their first down, which they never seem to, or Tom Brady-led teams never seem to get the first down if they have the ball first. Chiefs are driving, then they just fell apart. They really did. They just did not play.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up this game. They just kind of like fell apart.
Yeah.
But moving on to our next topic, another NFL news thing that happens before the last time we made a podcast was that J.J. Watt, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, probably the best Texans player of all time, was released the other day. And what does this do to like? And it was a classy thing. Like they did it. They could have traded him probably for at least a second-round pick, but they wanted to let him choose which team he wanted to go to. So props to the Texans ownership for that, honestly.
Yeah. This is crazy. I'm sure when J.J. Watt does come to retire, he's probably going to sign like a one-day thing with the Texans. I don't think him and the Texans left on too bad of a foot. Like I know they really kind of screwed. They really wasted his talent, really. But he's gonna go somewhere and win a ring, probably, hopefully. I think a lot of people really like J.J. Watt. I don't see a reason to dislike him unless you're Jaguars, Titans, or Colts fan. Because, I don't know. I feel like everybody likes him. And I definitely think this season, he statistically didn't have a great season. He had a lot of pressure, but like he didn't play like JJ Watt, especially when he's completely healthy. That there was no excuse. But I think he's probably going to return right back to his JJ Watt form, which is insane. He's going to drop a lot of sacks next season. I'm calling it early. Hopefully he's healthy. And I'm really excited to see him on a different team because I feel like he's going to light up more than he ever could on the Texans, who are just looking like a terrible franchise right now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that everyone wants to see him win a ring. I'd personally like to see him win a ring.
Yeah.
He's definitely, I'd consider him a Hall of Famer.
Oh, what?
Sure.
No question.
If you win 3 Defensive Player of the Years, I'd say, even if you don't do anything else in your career, I'd say that you're a sure lock for Hall of Famer. So he's a Hall of Famer.
Speaking of
that any team, he could basically fit in on any team. He's probably going to want to go to contender, which he should. He should go to a contender. But he could fit probably on any team. Teams don't really have to adjust their play styles that much for him. He's just someone who could come in, get pressure, get sacks.
I agree. And if he can return to a 10+ sack season or somewhere close to it and play consistently, he could probably finish in that top 5 range maybe for sacks all time, which is crazy. We're watching what a lot of people don't understand. People, they understand this. They just can't really grasp it, is that, I mean, except for Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, people like that, mostly quarterbacks, we are living amongst legends in the NFL right now. JJ, well, maybe TJ, but JJ Watt is one of the best defensive ends we've seen of all time. Julio Jones is probably a top 10 wide receiver of all time. We're living amongst legends, and it's really cool. So many Hall of Famers in the league right now. It's exciting, just to look back at this one day and just be like, wow, we really were we had a stacked NFL at that point. And then all the young players that are winning MVPs in their second season, like Lamar, Mahomes. It's awesome. It's kind of crazy because the NFL is kind of molding into this. Every player is getting really, really, really good. So I think we're going to see a significant drop in Hall of Famers because everybody's going to look really good. And only those standouts are going to be whoa, insane. Mahomes, obviously.
I agree with you on that. I think that that's a lot of. Obviously, they're getting more talented. There's better technologies available. They're just getting more talented in general. But I also think that another reason is just that the rules have benefited offense in recent years. But there's also really good players in defense. But I'm just saying that the statistic-wise, that's why I don't look at passing yards for when I'm comparing all-time quarterbacks. But yeah, that was a bit off topic. But you want to jump into our free agency?
Okay, so this is going to be really fun, guys. Here's what we're going to do. We are on here's what we're going to do. We are looking through the free agents, and we're just going to predict where they're going. This is going to be including the teams that they're currently on, so we could just say re-sign. For example, the first one we're going to talk about, I think Ben and I are both going to re-sign him, and that is Dak Prescott.
Yeah, you saw before he got hurt this year, was on pace for about 6,000 yards.
Yeah.
Although he wasn't winning games, but he also had one of the worst defenses of all time at that point. But yeah. Dak Prescott definitely proved that he's gonna be he's not just a 1-year wonder either, because he's done this in the past. He proved that he's gonna be a consistent top 7, top 10 quarterback in the league. And I think he should get paid. He was being a little greedy last year with the contract. He wanted Mahomes money, but I think that he's gonna since because of that injury, I think that he's gonna have to take less money, or they're just he's staying with them basically no matter what. The question is whether he gets a big contract like a big like 4-year extension worth like over like $200 million or something, or if they tag him for the second year in a row. I personally think that he's going to get tagged because I know he played really good, but I don't really agree. I don't think you should really give someone that's coming off of an injury $200 million. I don't think he'll probably get it next year, but I think they should tag him for now.
I think I pretty much agree with you for the most part. You know, I like the Giants, and this sucks to say, but don't hate the player, hate the team, right? Dak is gonna give us problems because I know he's gonna stay with the Cowboys unless he's asking for too much money, which I again, like you said, I'm pretty sure they're gonna get him no matter what, even if that means I have to tag him.
Yeah, he's just like a critical part of their team. You saw how their offense just struggled without him. Like Zeke collapsed. Their offense just wasn't good.
Like everybody was talking about, oh, Dak has such a good receiving core. No. Like this is last year before Carson Wentz was really bad, and people were saying Carson's better than Dak, which was a pretty good argument. But I mean, Dak still has a much better receiving core, and now he barely got to play with CeeDee Lamb, who was awesome.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's not just receiving core because you saw this team couldn't win without him. It's just kind of the truth. Even though they didn't really win that much with him, they didn't play well without him, is what I mean to say.
Yeah, so
he had
you're still talking. Never mind.
I'll finish in a second, but he had video game stats in the beginning. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks after his terrible injury, he still led the league in passing yards, which is crazy. Yeah, he's going back to the Cowboys. I don't think they're going to.
All right, this is a hot take. This is going to be a hot take, and people are probably going to get mad at me for saying this, but I think his stats were garbage time stats. I think they were kind of empty stats.
I mean, you can't really disagree with that because
all of his yards were when they were down by 20 points or something. I don't think that he truly was that good, better than his stats. I think that he's still a top 10 quarterback, but he's not as good as his stats. But yeah, let's move on to the next guy, Chris Godwin, who he was still pretty good this year, but he wasn't as good as last year. You got the Bucks are gonna have a lot of people to resign. They have him and a couple other dudes we're gonna be talking about later. But yeah, he's still definitely borderline elite receiver. But I don't think they're going to have the salary cap room for him, honestly.
I'm sorry.
I think that I don't think they have the other two free agents want big money. I think they'll go with the defensive guys over him. And I think they could replace him with a much cheaper contract than re-signing Antonio Brown. So I think that's what they're going to do. But I think Chris Godwin, I haven't really thought about this that much. But honestly, I could see him going somewhere like Miami, honestly. Miami has the salary cap. They need a receiver. I think he can go there.
I think he could go somewhere else. And a tag isn't crazy to say.
I don't think they would tag him.
He's he's a key part of the offense, though. I don't know.
I don't agree with that. I think he can be replaced by Antonio Brown. Not as good with Antonio Brown's age. And who knows? Antonio Brown could always just break out and become what he was in 2018. And I think there's a good chance that happens, honestly.
You know what? I don't like admitting this, but you kind of swayed my opinion a little bit. Yeah, I don't think he's going to go to a team like the Dolphins, but I definitely think I don't know. I think for the sake of the fun, we'll say he goes to a different team. And I'm thinking a team that's just trying to build from young players, which, the Dolphins, their oldest player besides Fitzpatrick's 30. They have a really young team. But Godwin's going to go somewhere else. I don't see him going to Miami. Not that he would be bad in Miami. Just don't think he would be that great. But then where does he go? There's a couple things I can see happening. He goes to somewhere like Jacksonville. Which I hate to. I hate when players like stay in the same state. So we'll sway away a little from Jacksonville. Also, we like know nothing. At this point, this is pretty early in free agency. There's no big signings yet, really, like at all. The
Yeah.
only thing big was a trade, which was like whatever. But I'll probably say Godwin goes to. I'm trying to think of a draft we can do, like I'm doing in my head, so that because I think certain teams are going to draft receiver, but he could go somewhere like the Eagles if they had the cap. It depends how much he's asking for too. You think Chris Godwin's going to be want to get paid enough to where teams can't sign him?
I'm not too sure about that.
Me neither. I'm gonna put him on the.
You don't have to pick someone, Ethan. You can just say that he doesn't.
But I'd like to. I'll put him on the Patriots. They need a receiver.
All right, so this is actually a very like receiver heavy free agency. So next up we got Allen Robinson, and my opinion, there's two scenarios that I see for this one. But honestly, I know he's had some turmoil. I know he's had some turmoil with him, but I feel like he's going to come back to the Bears. I feel like they kind of need him. They kind of need him, honestly. And I think that worst comes to worst, I think they do tag him. I think they would. They don't have a lot of salary cap, but I still think they'll either tag him or sign him to a contract. He's very good, and I think that he's a key part of their offense. Definitely their best player on offense. And him and Darnell Mooney are a pretty solid receiving core, honestly. They just need that quarterback.
Bears is probably. I actually disagree. I think he probably won't stay with the Bears. He clearly doesn't want to be there, and it'd be funny to see him go back to Jacksonville, which is possible. But this is the receiver I'm gonna put with the Dolphins. I could see Allen Robinson going to Miami pretty easily. Like you said, they have the cap. It's pretty much the same as what you said for Godwin. I think he could go to the Dolphins for sure. I think he'd work for Tua with Tua. I think this can work. I like him on the Dolphins. Again, Ben and I are kind of looking at this blindly. We're scrolling, seeing a name, and thinking right away. So,
right. So
if I'm missing something,
I'm going to skip around this list a little. Not right now, but I'm just telling you that for in advance that I'm going to be skipping around this list a little because I don't think we're going to be able to get to all 25 people. So, for now we'll go in order. So next up we got another receiver, Kenny, and I just feel like I don't want to talk about all the receivers. I'd rather go to other positions.
We'll do one more receiver after this.
Yeah. So next up we got Kenny Gallaudet. I think he's definitely not staying with the Lions.
Yeah, that's clear.
There's no chance. I really don't know who he could. I really don't know who he could go, but I don't know. He could go to like the. I actually see their prediction on here, and I agree with it. I think he could go to the Giants. I think
that's exactly what I was thinking. I didn't even look at the prediction yet.
That's actually a good place for him, though. Now I'm thinking about it.
So here's my hypotheticals. They either get Kenny Gallaudet or they draft Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
They need a deep threat. They need someone that creates separation. Kenny Gallaudet can do that. Jalen Waddle can do that. So, for the sake that there's the hypothetical that there's no NFL draft and it's simply just free agency, I can see Kenny Gallaudet going to the Giants.
All right. So, yeah, moving on to the next guy. We got, this is my opinion, might be one of the most important dudes in free agency. We got the left tackle, Trent Williams. I know he's a little old, but he showed last year he still got it. Was one of the best tackles in football last year. And in my opinion, I think he's going back to San Francisco. They really need him. If they want to make another Super Bowl push next year, they definitely need him. And I think he could get a big deal, honestly. I think he's definitely going back to the Niners, though. And it makes sense for both sides.
So this guy, is on the other side of 30, and he hasn't slowed down, like you said. He honestly is looking like better. He's looking very good. And he has a supporting cast in San Francisco. So why not keep that going? San Francisco was riddled with injuries this year, none of them his fault. But who wouldn't want this guy if everyone's gonna come back? And just 2 years ago, it feels like people forgot. Last year's Super Bowl was the 49ers and the Chiefs. They are a good team still. And why would you not want a Hall of Fame tackle? And he's clearly Hall of Fame. Don't argue with me. He's a Hall of Famer. And I think if they're gonna want to push the Super Bowl, they're gonna need a good offensive line. And who wouldn't want Trent Williams leading their offensive line?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's found a home on that team. So
Yeah.
next up on the list, he's definitely one of them. That dude's definitely one of the most important dudes in free agency. Next up on the list, we got safety Justin Simmons. Now, news actually came out today that the Broncos might actually not franchise tag him, and that they could just let him walk.
That's a Broncos thing to do, I think.
I think, in my opinion, though, I think he's going to get signed back on a long-term deal. It's hard to get. They don't really get a lot of free agents, so they got to kind of re-sign the ones they got to have.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's that rumor that he's not going to get tagged, but he could get re-signed. I think that can. He's one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL. Was really, really good this year. Finally made a Pro Bowl. He should have made it last year, maybe even the year before that. But he was super good this year. Definitely should have made it last year. I just pulled up his stats just to see. Definitely should have made it. He puts up great numbers, and I don't know why you wouldn't want him back on your team. And the Broncos could make a lot of mistakes, like drafting someone like Drew Lock, but having Justin Simmons around will only help the Broncos. They were supposed to have a good defense at least, and they just didn't. The Broncos were one of the worst teams in football, and I think they kind of dug themselves pretty deep into a hole. But I think they're doing a pretty decent job getting better at, except for Drew Lock. Justin Simmons is a really solid player. They've been drafting receiver like crazy. They have Cortland Sutton, and then they drafted Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler. They drafted receivers. There's just a hole there, and they have a pretty young offensive line, and I think Justin Simmons is a key to the defense because their defense just did not look as good as it should have been this year. So yeah, Justin Simmons is someone I think they're going to keep around.
Yeah, so I'm going to skip a little and let's go. Yeah. Let's talk about Levante David. He already said he wants a big deal, and I think the Bucs are going to give him a big deal. I know they have Devin White as kind of like a replacement for him, but I think that they like what they're running right now with these two linebackers. It clearly works. They just won a Super Bowl. And I think that they'll choose someone like Levante David over a receiver like Chris Godwin, who I think is more replaceable. Because although Devin White is still very good, Levante David's better, but Devin White has more value because he's younger. I think you should keep both of them because what they're doing on that defense right now is amazing. Those two middle linebackers are dominating, and I think they're going to give him a big deal. I think he's going to get a big contract to stay with the Bucs.
Oh, we could just move on from Levante David. I agree. Their linebacking core that they build is really, really good, and keep Levante around. There's no point in not. He's not slowing down anytime soon from what I can see.
Yeah, I agree.
Do we skip here?
No, let's talk about this.
All right.
Brandon I always forget how to say his name.
Brandon Sheriff.
All right, Brandon Sheriff. Definitely great guard. I actually don't know. I mean, I think he's going to stay in Washington.
Yeah, me too.
there's not that much to talk about for this, but he's definitely a great guard, and they're building something special in Washington. I think
They
he's.
are.
I
They
think
are.
he's.
Do
He's a
not
good part of
sleep.
their team.
Do not sleep on Washington football team. Also, is it Taylor Heineke's time to shine? It's a legitimate question. I'm not joking.
It's not.
You don't think so?
He's a good backup though.
I think Taylor Heinecke could be decent, honestly.
All right,
Is that crazy to say?
it's an interesting take, but
I mean, you gotta like Taylor Heinecke then. He was on the Panthers.
oh yeah, he was 11 there.
He was 6 there.
All right, let's skip a little and speaking of Panthers, let's talk about Taylor Moton. Great, this is a great line class. I'm like looking at these names. There's a lot of big name linemen free agents, and some of them will stay on their teams. But still,
yeah. Taylor Moton's gonna go back to the Panthers.
Yeah, I think
they need to pay him big money, but they're gonna pay him. They're gonna get him.
I think that I don't think he's gonna get his big contract this season. I think we're gonna keep him, but I think we're probably gonna tag him this year. I think that's what it's looking like. I think that next year we'll be able to work out an extension though, and we really need him. So it's important that we do that. But we just need more time to get an extension, if you know what I mean.
No, I think he's just gonna get extended.
I would love that. I'm fine paying him big money because he's worth it. He's that good, in my opinion.
Speaking of this Panthers line, though, I think we talked about Taylor Moton, really.
Yeah.
He's going to go back to Carolina. There's no point in not taking probably your third best player on offense, maybe second.
I'd say second.
Yeah, I'd say he's second only behind McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Speaking of Panthers line, you force this onto me so much, Ben, that I kind of just believe it at this point. So 13 here. Oh, that's what it says on the list that we're looking at. But is guard Joe Thuney. I know people say Thuney. I say Tooney. And Ben has been saying, oh, he's going to the Panthers. He's going to the Panthers next year, no question. So I just believe him. I respect Ben. Ben and I've
said it so much. I've even convinced my Patriots, my friend that's a Patriots fan, that he's going to the Panthers. Yeah, I've been saying it for so long. So yeah, I'm gonna say that he goes to the Panthers. I realistically, I don't think that's really my number one choice. I don't think that's really worth the number one signing because I don't know if they'll have the space. Maybe they will actually now that they cut Kwan short. Actually, they probably do. So yeah, I'm gonna say the Panthers. He's gonna be asking for a lot of money, but he's very good and he's worth the money. So yeah, go Thuney.
I respect Ben's opinion. That's why we did this podcast together because we both know that we both have a knowledge of football. So I'm just gonna trust Ben and say, yeah, Tooney goes to the Panthers. Why not?
Why not?
Shaq Barrett. He's going back to the Bucks.
Yeah, there's not that much to talk about. He's going back to the Bucks.
26 years old, and he is the best edge linebacker in the league. He's one of them.
Yeah, he's going back to the Bucks. Let's skip a little and let's talk about interesting player in this free agency, Richard Sherman.
Oh, we're not going to talk about whatever. That's fine.
We're talking about Richard Sherman.
Can we talk about 17 next?
No.
Oh, it's Fitzpatrick, guys. Ben's a hater.
No, you could just say it for a second. He's going to the Dolphins. I don't know.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is gonna start next season.
That's a good take. Now let's talk about Richard Sherman. So Richard Sherman, I still think he's pretty good. He was hurt last year. I still think he's a top 10 corner, maybe top 7. But he needs the right team. And there's a lot of places he could go, but it seems like the Raiders always like to sign these old players, and I think that he's going to be one of them. It's so weird. They always sign people as their career's winding down. I think Sherman's going to sign with the Raiders. He likes John Gruden, and honestly, be a pretty good fit there. I think he fits with their defense, and they really need defense. So yeah, I'm going to say that Sherman goes to I think he's going to go to the Raiders in a 2-year deal.
I think the Raiders isn't terrible. But I think he can go somewhere like the Vikings. Their secondary is very bad. The only person I really like in their secondary, I like Harrison Smith, but I like Cam Dantzler, and that's about it. And there's a weird reason to like him too. It's not even like I like him a lot because of he's Cam Dantzler. I think he can go to the Vikings. I think having those two old guys in the back, Harrison Smith's he's pretty old. I think he could go to the Vikings. I like Raiders too. I can probably see either of those. I don't think he's gonna go to the Bills like Pro Football Focus says. That doesn't make too much sense to me. I don't really
they need a second corner, but I don't think that's who they get.
Yeah, I don't think they get Richard Sherman to help Tre'Davious White. That'd be weird.
Be weird, yeah.
I actually do want to talk about Leonard Williams before
I was going to talk about him too.
Before we talk about should we make this next one after Leonard Williams the last?
Yeah, I think that you know what? Let's do Leonard Williams. There's one guy I want to talk about, then we'll talk about 20.
Okay. So
let's talk about Leonard Williams. You're a Giants fan, so how do you feel about this whole situation?
Well, I actually know what's going to happen. I know because I'm a genius. the Giants are going to get him back. They're going to overpay him for sure, without a doubt. But he's going back to the Giants. As a Giants fan, I have mixed opinions. I think all real Giants fans are a little iffy on Leonard Williams. He played really good this season. Sometimes, but he really doesn't fit. But if we're gonna re-sign him big, we might as well make him fit and just kind of build around him a little bit. We have a pretty decent defense at this point, as opposed to last year, which was terrible. James Bradbury was a big difference maker. Leonard Williams was a difference maker. Dexter Lawrence still hasn't done anything yet. Next season, he doesn't play super good. I'm labeling him a bust, which I hate to do. Then Dalvin Tomlinson, he's whatever. But that D-line around Leonard Williams, if no one's going to get pressure on the Giants, then you got to keep Leonard Williams around because we have the worst linebacking core in football pretty much. So I think Leonard Williams, if we're gonna get any pressure, we're gonna need Leonard Williams to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. We've talked about this before. I think he's going back. They're definitely gonna overpay for him, but they need him, and he's gonna get paid like $20 million a year. But he'll go back to the Giants. And before we talk about our last guy, there's one guy I want to talk about that I scrolled a little down to see.
I already know who.
I want to talk about Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yep, I literally read your mind, Ben.
No, because this is one of the most interesting. This is one where you really don't know. And he's a very young player. He's only 24 years old, and I don't think he's going to go back to Pittsburgh. Honestly,
neither do I, because he's going to ask for a lot of money, and you know who's going to sign him? I like exactly what Pro Football Focus put here. They put the Jets, and you know what? Juju on the Jets makes sense. It'll happen probably.
Interesting.
They're going to draft receiver, not in the first, obviously, but they're probably going to draft a receiver second or third. In the second or third round, not second overall or third, which doesn't make sense. Juju is going to go there, and he's going to play, and everybody's going to hate on Juju because he's going to have bad stats because the Jets are. Juju is probably going to go to the Jets, and they're not going to – I think that the Jets were worse than the Jaguars this year. I think they just got really lucky with some of their wins, and not all was luck. But I think a lot of it was. I think put the Jets against the Rams 9 times out of 10, the Rams are going to win. I think Jets got really lucky there. I think that Juju is going to go there. He's going to underperform as a receiver 1 because he has the Jets team around him, and everyone's going to hate on Juju again. That's my prediction. Ben?
Yeah, I think that I don't agree with you on that one. I think that He might have to take a small pay cut, but I think he's going to go to Green Bay. I think he's a actually perfect fit there, and I think he could produce similar to when he had Antonio Brown by his side. The Packers need someone like him. They need him. Like that's like the type of receiver they need. They don't need another like deep threat receiver, like outside receiver. They need the slot guy like Juju that can like just kind of get like just kind of like catch the ball.
You would say put
Yeah,
Juju in the slot?
I think he'd be a great what?
You'd put Juju in the slot?
I think he could play for the slot in Green Bay. He could also just play. He could play both, but what I'm saying is I think he'd just be a good fit there. I may have used the wrong word.
All right. I don't hate it. I mean, seeing Juju win would be cool. I mean, what am I saying? The Steelers literally have the second best record in all the AFC, but whatever.
All right, and now moving on to the discussion that you guys have all been waiting for.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt. What do you think?
We talked about him a little bit this podcast, but not where we think he's going to go. So, where's he going to go?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Me neither. There's a lot of rumors about my Steelers. He's not going to the Steelers, guys. As a Steelers fan, I can just kind of accept that. We don't even need him, honestly. I mean, of course we want him, but we're probably the team that needs him like the least.
Besides, I think you'd actually have a negative effect by signing him. I think that it would kind of mess up your guys' system, and you don't need him at all. But yeah, definitely don't think he's going to the Steelers. But who do you think he's going to?
You know what? I put Juju on the Jets, right?
Yeah.
I'll put JJ on the Jets too. I think
okay.
This is someone they could probably get. But at the same actually no, I'm not. Because JJ Watt needs to get a ring. JJ Watt needs a ring. So Seahawks could be pretty cool. So can Cowboys. One of those two teams I can actually see if he wants to get a ring.
Are you gonna pick between them?
I'll probably pick probably the Seahawks.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. Actually, I think he'd be a better fit. I think the Cowboys also have a bit more money to play with than the Seahawks. Neither of them have that too much money, but they have a little more.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be a better fit there, just because in that division, if the Cowboys basically kind of like are gonna have an easy road to the playoffs. And also, I think he'd just be a good like fit there. He doesn't have really. He honestly wouldn't have to really move. It'd just be a long way to work, but he wouldn't really have to move. He gets to stay in Texas, a state he likes.
Here's what I'm thinking.
What?
Here's what I'm thinking, though. I think that, I think I'm going to change my my pick to Dallas as well. Or no, yeah, Dallas. I thought I said Houston for a second.
All right.
Dallas, because he would be more dominant in that division anyways, because the tackles in that division just aren't as good. Andrew Thomas has not been good. Eagles' offensive line hasn't played great, even though, yeah, they have like Lane Johnson and stuff, but how often do you see that offensive line working together healthy? Not often. If they put Jason Peters on him, that just wouldn't work. Did he like retire? Did he retire yet?
No, but he's probably gonna.
Yeah. And then football team, their tackles aren't very good either. So I could see JJ probably being more dominant. No, but I actually do think he's going to be in the NFC East or West.
So
NFC West, sorry. I think he's going to stay in Seattle. I changed my pick again.
All right, so that wraps up our free agency signings, and also that wraps up the podcast. So thank you guys for watching. This is our first off-season episode. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but it went great. We'll definitely
You've decided it went great.
We'll definitely be doing more off-season episodes. Look out for the mock draft episode. That's going to be a fun one. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and tune in probably in about 2 weeks or a week and a half for our draft episode, or maybe another free agency episode.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. You can't forget the channel.
Yeah, don't forget.
It's at NanoBlitz Podcast. Comment whatever. We'll probably respond and do it in a podcast.
All right. See you next time.